Alright. Experimental Rap Review by JPEGMAFIA. Let's see what he says about this album. I mean, you listened to some, I listened to the whole thing.
Of the new JPEGMAFIA album, Experimental Rap. Yes, here we have a brand new record, the 6th full-length solo album from rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, experimental hip-hop kingpin, Mr. JPEGMAFIA. And this record simultaneously has been one of his most anticipated, but also one of his most controversial. But that was already the case before we even had the chance to hear the entire thing. Truth be told, JPEG, or Peggy, has been in a weird place with much of his audience for the past couple of years, which I hate mostly because of how fandoms and internet discourse online operate these days. Because the moment there's any kind of shift in opinion around what you do, people all like to collectively forget that there ever was a time when it was different. So I will say here, for the sake of historical context, there was a point when Peggy was one of the most beloved rappers in the underground, a force to be.
I wouldn't say rapping, I would say more of his producing. Yeah. But his writing is just fuck all. Rapping is alright, but producing is just like top 5 of like the newest underground rap scene in general.
Reckoned with, a guy who was appreciated not just for his forward-thinking production, but also his distinct voice, his catchy and memorable flows, as well as the confrontational energy he put behind the ideals in his bars. And the momentum he was able to build while being an independent artist was enough to give him the kind of play and attention many mainstream rappers would get when it came to, you know, sort of like coverage on various music review and commentary sites and platforms. But a lot of that fandom and goodwill would scatter, or at least sour, when he decided to put himself out there and work with one of his biggest inspirations, Ye, formerly Kanye West, during a time in Ye's career when he famously was at his most unstable, was repeatedly professing his love for fascism and the H-man. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna pause right here, but I feel like ever since Peggy has met Ye, I feel like the fall off is already happening, dude. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, Peggy did some, I guess, alright-ish producing and writing on Vultures 1 and 2. I haven't really reacted or listened to these albums before, but if I do get a chance, I might listen to the Vulture series. But I feel like ever since Peggy has met Kanye West, I feel like he wants to, like, follow his lead, which is why he has fallen down so much on experimental rap, because holy shit, I didn't even know what the fuck I was listening to, dude.
And given the numerous anti-fascist and anti-white supremacist bars Peggy had dropped over the years on his records, many fans did see this as a betrayal, even if it was merely for the sake of getting the chance to work with one of his biggest idols. But honestly, as unflinching as Peggy has been in the face of criticism around this, I feel like this decision, for the most part, was very survivable in terms of the optics of his career, especially given Ye has kind of toned things down quite a bit and seems to be on a much better track as of late, and Peggy seems to have mostly chalked this behavior up to mental health issues. But still, this doesn't really explain all of the extracurricular, totally unnecessary beefs that he's taken on in addition to this with artists like Freddie Gibbs, Armand Hammer, most recently Earl
I love that image.
Sweatshirt, who he traded words with over Instagram with some catty comments back and forth. Unfortunately, this has created a lot of static among music fans that happen to listen to artists who are kind of in this left field of rap music, because often fans of one of these guys also listen to the other 2 or 3, and people do tend to get really defensive and even downright tribalistic when it comes to their faves not getting along. I mean,
yeah, dude, being a Peggy fan looking is kind of hard, dude. This man keeps getting, like, beefs everywhere, dude. We got, dude, I listen to Freddie Gibbs, and I listen to JPEGMAFIA. 2 people that used to beef. which is, dude, it sucks being a JPEG fan, because this man would beef with anyone these days, dude.
Yeah.
which is sad. Let's see.
Look at the line that's been drawn in the sand over Kendrick v. Drake. Add to this, Peggy really leaning into this villain era, not only with the announcement of this album's title, Experimental Rap, a choice he says he made because he is basically the best and most important artist when it comes to experimental hip-hop, that no other artist kind of comes to mind when you utter those words, and he is merely laying claim with this record to what is already his. And even if there is like a little bit of irony and exaggeration there in Peggy's words, many of the most vocal listeners online talking about this don't seem to think so. And personally, while I do find this heel turn to be kind of funny and very much a part of Peggy's, you know, usually confrontational personality, I think the way it's kind of dumbed down and toxified the discourse around this record has been fucking awful and very much not worth the fireworks. Because like anywhere I go on the internet and see people posting about this album, there's no shortage of replies of this like moronic hive mind, people chiming in to be like, Peggy is so corny,
He just fucks all with writing. He doesn't know how to write a fucking story for his music.
Now, while personally I do have my own criticisms of the album, some of these reactions really make me wonder how much people's enjoyment of their favorite underground artists is completely based upon vibes. All this drama to the side, I will say, I did go into this record with pretty high expectations, not just because
So did I. I had high expectations when I first listened to it.
because of what I hoped an album titled Experimental Rap would bring, but I really did love Peggy's last album, I Lay Down My Life For You.
It's a great album.
Only did this record feature one of his best closing tracks ever, really mature, well-developed song structures too, but also numerous fantastic fusions of hip-hop and rock that were consistently tasteful and punk as hell. Also loved the features from Vince Staples, Denzel Curry too, all around one of his best records. So really my most basic want from experimental rap was for it to continue this momentum of what has been just like a fantastic run of projects since Peggy's breakout 2018 album Veteran, which is an appropriate album to bring up because I think in a lot of ways this record is trying to bring back some of that classic chaotic Veteran energy with a sprawling, chaotic 25-song track list where Peggy is once again breaking down his approach to song structure by dishing out all of these brief moment-as-song type of cuts that in his earlier days worked out so well for him and certainly helped set him apart from a lot of his competition. And while I do look back on that Veteran era very fondly, I didn't expect, though, for this revisit to this vibe, this sound, to have such a mild effect right out of the gate. Because this record starts with a kind of epic, angelic set of vocal passages, a comedian Paul Mooney snippet as well, where he's kind of interacting with the audience and making them laugh, all of which sets the stage for the first single from this record, Baby Girl. I'm feeling about a strong 6.
Yeah.
On this
That's what I
transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you...
Alright, what are his favorite tracks? He likes head.
Can't blame him.
Why is he just standing there? Well, Jacob, why are you just standing there?
Oh my god. Hey, man.
Ladies.
Thank you.
Right here, right there!